So many of us think the hardest part of climbing the ladder is just getting the promotion. We spend all this energy proving we're ready, psyching ourselves up to take that big leap. But as this story shows, getting the title, well, that's just the start of the race. The real test is something else entirely. And this quote, wow, it just captures that gut punch moment perfectly. Imagine that. You've made it. You're finally in charge. You turn around, expecting to see your team right there with you, and there's just empty space. Today, we're diving into how one new manager learned that leadership isn't a position. It's a choice that other people have to make about you. So, let's set the scene. It's day one of the new job. Our narrator goes to HR and asks for a manager's handbook, some kind of guide. The answer they get? A simple no. And that's it. They're totally on their own. So what do? Exactly what most of us would do. They made up their own system, a plan based on what they thought a manager was supposed to do. And this was the plan, a kind of standard operating procedure for being a manager. I mean, on paper, it looks pretty efficient, right? It's totally logical. Hand out tasks, check on them, and then report the results up the chain. The big idea was to stop being a doer and start being a manager. But this very machine-like approach, it was missing the most important part of the equation, the actual people doing the work. This slide just lays out the disconnect perfectly. On the left, in their own head, the manager thought, I'm being tough. I'm upholding the system. But the reality, on the right, was a team whose morale was just being drained away. When a team member actually quit, it wasn't seen as a human problem. It was just a scheduling problem, a slot that needed to be filled. The belief was that they were being a strong manager, but the result was just total burnout. So as you can probably guess, this whole task-focused approach was headed for a crash. And it wasn't a quiet one. It's one thing to have doubts in private, but it's something else entirely when your lack of leadership gets put on display for absolutely everyone to see. This is that moment, the moment it all went public. Our narrator is up on stage giving their first big presentation as a manager, probably feeling pretty confident. But when they finish, there's just silence. Not applause, not questions, just nothing. The audience, their own team, is completely checked out, staring at their phones, and this quote hits them like a ton of bricks. They realize that authority was just an illusion. A title doesn't get you respect. You can see if you've earned it by looking into the eyes of your audience. As more and more people started leaving the team, it became impossible to ignore. This wasn't just a string of bad luck. Something was deeply, fundamentally wrong. And this painful reality led to two critical conversations that would completely flip their entire perspective on what it means to be a leader. Oof, can you even imagine hearing that from a colleague you actually respect who's on their way out the door? It's absolutely brutal, but it's also brutally honest. This one sentence just completely shattered our narrator's self-image. It wasn't about the tasks or the system anymore. The problem was them. They were managing a process, sure, but they weren't inspiring a single person to want to grow. But right when they hit rock bottom, this piece of advice from the company's general manager offered a way forward. And it's such a powerful idea. Stop defending yourself and just start listening. A complaint isn't an attack, it's a gift. It's basically a signpost pointing you directly to a hidden opportunity to get better. Okay, so armed with this totally new mindset, the narrator finally shifted gears from making excuses to taking real action. The goal was no longer about enforcing rules. It was about actually creating reasons for the team to want to follow, to make that change from being just a boss to being a real role model. And this became the new playbook. Step 1, listen without getting defensive to discover what the real problem is. Step 2, look inside that problem to find the opportunity for improvement. And then the most important one, step 3, change yourself first. Before you ask anything of your team, you have to start with you. And these weren't just vague promises. These were concrete commitments. They started jumping into the trenches during high-pressure moments to lead by example. They'd help solve tough problems, but without just taking over. They built a transparent growth plan so people could see a future for themselves. They started having regular one-on-ones that were actually about support, not just getting a status update. It was a complete overhaul from the ground up. Now, actions are one thing, but for a change like this to actually stick, the entire mindset had to evolve. This meant really internalizing these hard-learned lessons and developing a whole new philosophy, one that was guided by asking the right questions over and over again.
This is the first question, and it cuts right to the heart of that original mistake. A resource is just a number on a spreadsheet, something you manage and optimize for efficiency. But a teammate? That's a person, someone you develop, someone you support, and someone you collaborate with. It's a world of difference.
The second question forces a really important choice. Are you doing this because it's easier for you or because it's better for them? The old way was all about convenience, right? Making the system run smoothly for the manager. This new way prioritizes creating real opportunities for people to learn, to stretch, and to get better. And this one, well, this is the ultimate gut check, isn't it? It's the empathy test. Would you be inspired by you? It forces you to step outside of yourself, to see your leadership from your team's perspective. It holds you to a standard that's so much higher than just getting the work done. It reminds you that you have to earn that trust every single day. And really, that's the core lesson of this whole journey. There's no magic switch that flips when your job title changes. True leadership isn't given to you. It's earned in the trenches. It's built by facing your own mistakes, by listening when it's really hard, and by choosing day after day to put your people first. It's a skill you have to learn, often through failure. All right, that's it for today. If you found value in this video, please smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Your support is not just an affirmation, it is the power that helps me transform my journey into influence and keeps me going. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.